I start photography? It's a good question, because I started in the digital age and not the film age. But I was used to taking photos as a younger boy, and with film cameras. I still remember the little cubes you could buy, which were the flashes, like a one-time use. And I remember having to wind the camera to the next part of the film. But I guess with the digital side of things, it will change slightly. I was fortunate enough to meet a friend who was to loan me his camera for a trip to Wales, and it was, it was a good camera. In fact, it's an excellent camera. It was a Nikon D600 or D700. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I started using it, and I realised that something, I connected with it somehow. I'd never used one before, so what I was using it for was just taking photos. I wasn't actually I wasn't composing, or I wasn't looking for anything in particular, I don't think, anyway. At least I kind of just saw something that looked nice at an angle or whatever, and I took it. I never actually thought about it, I just went and did it. Landscapes, some bit of abstract kind of thing, but primarily just to get nice pictures of my daughters, which I think I've got. It wasn't until I got home that, and I showed photos to my friends, I realised quickly that I may have got an eye for photography, and it snowballed from there. And I quickly realised that I wouldn't be able to use the camera all the time, because obviously it wasn't mine. So for, I think it was 2 years, I didn't use a camera. I had a camera. I had a DSLR, a bridge DSLR, a Fuji, I think it was. Well, it is. I still have it now. I still use it every now and then. And it takes nice photographs, but it doesn't have the quality of a DSLR. It doesn't have the quality of changing lenses for the right composure, composition, that type of thing. So I asked around my circle of friends in the community that I'm involved in, and through the bearded community for charity and things. And a friend of mine, he had a DSLR, a Nikon D40, and I used that, and I fell in love with it again. And it was one of those things where, I didn't know what I was doing technically. I had no training. I had no kind of thought process behind it. I just took photos that I figured looked nice and I could edit somehow, and family photos, so I was lucky enough to get a second camera, a D90, and I was looking up on it on the internet. I was looking on YouTube, the reviews, the channels, and it was one of these robust cameras that sticks out, and it's not a professional camera, but it's like a stage below, I guess. But the photographs that it does take are of a very good quality, And of course, this is my primary kind of camera. Is what I use for all the photographs that you'll see that are on my website and on my other channels. My other social media pages. And if I have the chance, I'll get another one. I'll get a second one as a backup more than anything else. I do have my eye on another camera, the D800, which is a different camera altogether. It's a professional camera. And 3 of my photography friends have said, you're good with a crop sensor, but what would you be like with a full frame? And of course I used a full frame with the camera that I used when I went to Wales. And when I look back at my full frame photos and I compare them against my crop frame, I can see the little difference, you know. It's not a massive difference, but I can see it. So photography for me was more of a... I'm not very good with my memories. My memory's quite poor, and my confidence is low, and I struggle with depression. And it helps me to... Photography helps me to combat that. It helps me to get out, take photographs, remember those scenes, those moments. I can look back and I can say, that photograph, I was there, I did this, I did that. You know, I can remember. Without that, I won't remember. It would just go. And that's the depression. With the photography, it helps place it in a time. It clicks, the click of the shutter. I don't want to sound like a pun, but it clicks, the shutter of the click of the shutter helps me to remember that moment. And the more photographs I've taken, the more places I've gone, the more confident I've become. And I hope that shows in my photography. I think it does. But just because I think it does doesn't mean to say other people do. Well, photography is a very subjective thing. Some people like one photograph, some people don't. And that's fine. That's not... I don't put my photographs out there to be liked by people. I put them out there for people to see. I want to share my photography like artwork. People share art. You know, it's a kind of a moment, a documentary moment. So for me, photography is my way of coping with my depression. I have good days and I have bad days. Sometimes I have more good days than I have bad days, and vice versa. So for me, photography is my escape from my depression.